Christmas, happy Motivation Monday. How are we all doing on this very lovely Christmas Eve? I've got my decorations up. In fact, I need to move this over slightly, that way. Because there we go. That's it. How are we all doing? Motivation Monday, even though it's Christmas Eve. In fact, potentially because it's Christmas Eve, we could all do a little bit of motivation. I'm going to take the silly glasses off because, hey, I love these. They're great. So today's question is by a lady called Faye. And Faye asked, why do I, after all this time, still crave unhealthy carbohydrates? So to answer that question, because this is actually related to last week's question as well, because of course I have a theme because I want to help people, and that link to the New Year, New Start is in the description. It's up here again. There's a thing in your brain that when we have been eating what we've been eating all of our lives, and treating stuff like what was my unhealthy carb of choice, things like galaxies, popcorn, potatoes. Well, the potatoes are a borderline case. Chips, definitely not that borderline. Those things that we feel are treats but we know are unhealthy, in our brains, because our brain is a meaning-seeking, pattern-making machine, we encode what, I can't remember the author's name now, but she refers to it as a sugar-seeking pattern. And I've spoken about sugar-seeking patterns before. One of those sugar-seeking patterns is actually about more broad, about unhealthy carbohydrate. And as much as you've got a sugar-seeking pattern, you've also probably got a chocolate-seeking pattern, a chip-seeking pattern, a insert your unhealthy carbohydrate of choice seeking pattern, because your brain knows that it gets a positive dopamine feedback from the unhealthy carbohydrate of choice. It makes you feel better short term. Then, of course, the stuff going on back here in your amygdala, it's all about that short term choice. Your lovely little hindbrain is all about keeping you safe in the now and not encouraging you to change. It's all about the good. The now should be good. Bugger the future. The future doesn't matter. We don't know about the future. We don't care about the future. All we care about is feeling good in the now, and that's all related to why we crave, and it is a mind craving while we crave unhealthy carbohydrates. The physical addiction to sugar, like many other physical addictions, takes around about a week to break. Nicotine is one that it's 3 days before your body flushes it totally. Glucose, which of course comes from all carbohydrates, you never get rid of it. Your body needs some, but will happily make it through gluconeogenesis, which I've talked about before, which is where we turn protein into glucose when we need some. So we don't each need to eat any at all. Our body will quite happily turn my dinner, which is I'm going carnivore, my dinner, which is a vat of pork. It will quite happily turn some of that into the 20% of glucose my body needs to live, thrive and survive, whilst running happily on the fat for energy, using the protein to build my body, and a little bit of it to run the bits of me that actually like glucose, like my kidneys. Kidneys love it for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. I'm sure there is a reason that I will go into at some point in the future. But the reason, so once we've got rid of our physical addiction, which is very quick, it's then all about our mind addictions, which again is all about our behaviors and all about those patterns and reprogramming those patterns. And as I said last week, I am very, very up for helping people to reprogram those patterns. So to that end, I've created a 4-week coaching course. It's not an 8-week coaching course. I got it wrong last week. It's a 4-week coaching course. Group coaching, 20 people, to help us get rid of some of those patterns. It takes 66 days to change a pattern on average. Sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's longer. And that's all about consistent, persistent action. It's not about perfection, it's about progress, as I often say in the group. And what we're going to be doing in those 4 weeks is starting us off on a really good grounding to start forming new patterns. We won't finish forming those new patterns, but we'll definitely get us all going, forming new patterns around attitudes, around our health, around breaking away from the cravings for unhealthy carbohydrate, because, as I say, they're all about what's up here. And discover what our triggers are, because, of course, the triggers are what literally the triggers trigger the craving. So normally something will happen that triggers the pattern in here, the chain of neurons that fire completely unconsciously. You have no control over this whatsoever, so you do not need to blame yourself at all. If anything, if you really want to blame something, you blame past you. You can't change past you, you can only change future you. So we work with that, break those chains, head forwards into the future, and the next 4 weeks after January are going to be all about changing the future, so that we end up better, having better lives at the end of the 4 weeks. So as I say, I would love to take 20 people on that journey with me. The details are going to be, I think they're going to be up there by the time this post posts. At the moment they're over there. And they're going to be all about changing our world. So there are very good neurological reasons why after all that time we still crave our healthy carbohydrates. And that's mostly because when we were 0 to 4, we had a representation of food is love for some value of food, be that chocolate, be that potato, be that Ferrero Rocher, be that Galaxy, that was my one, be that whatever your unhealthy carbohydrate of choice is, you would have been gifted that pattern very, very early in life. That gives the neuron power massive amounts of steam, which is why it is totally unconscious and why you have no control over it. But what you do have is the choice to run the pattern. And that is what we'll work on when you join me on the course. So do go and click the link if you want to join me, because I would really want to have people succeeding in the new year. So click the link, and I wish you all a fantastic Christmas. Be as optimal as you can be in your Christmas. If you choose to have a complete blowout, good luck. Know why you're doing it, because Christmas is a feast day, and feast days are feast days. They are not every day. If you choose to stay more low carb, which is what I am doing, bar my Christmas meal, because I'm going out for dinner with my mum. And this year I choose to have a good Christmas. Christmas for me has been a really bad time previously, but of course that's just a story, that's just a pattern that's built up in here, and it can be changed. So we are all free to make our choices, because remember, you are only optimal mouthful away from success. So have a fantastic Christmas. I'll see you in the group, and I'll speak to you on New Year's Eve. Take care. Night night. Oops.